Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and it's so good to see you here. Today's video is going to be all about getting ready for having our second baby. So I'm talking to those of you who already have one, maybe you're thinking about having a second, or you're expecting your second, you're pregnant, you're adopting, second one's on their way at some point soon. We're gonna be processing through how you can be better prepared and what your concerns are. And I opened it up on Instagram to ask what your concerns were, and holy moly, there are a lot. The good news is every single one that came in, I was like, oh yeah, I felt that too. I remember. And I even started reading them to Sean and he was like, yeah, for sure, I felt that. And then the little one arrived. His name was Wilson. Still is Wilson. Still have him. So I have Eloise, she's my oldest, and then Wilson is my second, and then Jules, she's my third. And I'm gonna be talking to you all about what has worked, what has helped, and basically I kind of just want to cast a vision for having two kids. I feel like, I don't know, I was driving yesterday and I was thinking about that phrase that is, without vision, people perish. It sounds very lofty, but I really feel like without a sense of vision for where we're going, sometimes we feel like we're drowning or we're dying or we don't know why what we're doing today matters if we don't have a sense of where it's taking us. So I am going to be talking to you in this video about why it's going to be awesome to have another kid, and I just want you to leave this video feeling stronger, like, okay, I can do this. If Jessica can do this, I can do this. I want you to know that motherhood did not come easy to me. So I wasn't somebody who became a mom and then was like, oh my gosh, I've arrived, this is my sweet spot. No, I was fumbling, like you know, when you're swimming and you think you might drown and you're like bopping up and down from the bottom of the pool and you hope a lifeguard will jump in. That is a good picture of this girl arriving to motherhood and then having my second baby and be like, oh my gosh, am I gonna be able to pull this off? And then it was actually better than I expected. And then surprise, got pregnant with my third baby. She arrived pretty soon after my second baby. I did feel like I was drowning again for a bit, but it was certainly easier than some of the other stuff we had faced because I was already a mom. So the transition was there. My point in telling you about this whole drowning tidbit is just to say that I'm not coming at you as an expert, somebody who's like, I'm incredible at motherhood, I think you should do everything as I'm doing it. I'm coming at you as a friend, I hope, I wish we could be friends. Maybe sort of like a big sister type who's like, this is what's working for us, this is what's not exactly working, but we don't know a better way. But what you can be sure you'll get from me is some real genuine enthusiasm about having kids. I think it's awesome. If you scroll on my channel in any length of time, I think a video is gonna pop up pretty soon that says, I don't like being a mom. And that was me also being honest, that being a mom is a hard, stinking role. It just is. If you're a dad watching this, I salute you. It's also hard, but having kids is so worth it. It's always worth it. Always, always, always worth it. Maybe you're watching this because you already have two kids and you're like, help, and the drowning thing is like way too close to what you feel right now. Perfect. Let me just take this next little window of time to encourage you and tell you how incredible you are and how this is gonna go for you in the positive sense, okay? So thank you for being here. If you have never been to my channel before, will you subscribe? It's not that it necessarily does much. I don't even know if YouTube's very great at like showing you my new videos if you're following me. I really don't know. I've been sort of questioning their whole algorithm thing. But what it does do, it shows a higher number when somebody looks at my subscriber count, and then that confirms to a new person like, oh, this girl might have something worth listening to. And it builds credibility, and I appreciate it with my entire heart. It's something that I am so grateful for. That's why I sincerely ask that you subscribe, that you like the video, that you comment if there's anything you want to add. I always welcome your comments. In fact, something I think is thrilling about making videos like this, I think there's more thrilling things in life, but something very cool about making videos like this is that we know those who are coming to watch this type of content are in a very similar stage to whatever stage you're in. So that person's gonna read through the comments and be able to find those comments to be resources that's going to actually help their life. So leave a comment if you have a tip that is working great for you. And yeah, I think that's all I got to say. We're going to start the video. That was a super long intro. Thank you for being here. Thank you for shopping. Very Good Mothers Club. We dropped a bunch of new apparel last week, and it's so exciting to see you guys placing orders. And I hope that when they arrive to your house, you'll wear them and show me pictures. It is so cool to expand this community and be able to give us things, you know, where we can be wearing them and feel united. It's like our uniform, our team. It's cool. And then also, if you want more support in your parenting journey, we have a fantastic online community. It's a paid membership, so you pay to be in it. I guess that's what paid membership means.
I can't believe it.
And we do calls via Zoom. I'm there. We can be real friends. The other moms who are there are amazing. My friend Julie Fernandez helps coach. I'll put her YouTube channel below because she just launched a new one, and she's a fantastic resource for moms who need one-on-one coaching. I've done one-on-one coaching with her and been in the group setting. She's amazing for both, but really if you want a person to sit down one-on-one and like get this very professional kind of big sister doctor vibe, that's Julie. She'll be happy I said that. I just told her last night that's what I think of her. So I'd like to say join the membership if you want real valuable connection with other moms in different parts of the world. If you want free support, yeah, we have a Facebook group. It's called Jess, Hover, and Friends. My friend Steffi in Spain manages it. So I see it sometimes, but it doesn't get as much of my attention. Thank the good Lord for Steffi. She's amazing. So what you do is you go, you request to be in it, you answer the questions so we know you're not a creep, and then you can be in the group. And there's like 10,000 people in there. So if you post, surely somebody is going to respond. The difference between the Facebook group and the paid community is that when people pay for something, they're like really in it. And I find that the nature of the conversations gets like deep and kind, and there's less like online chitter chatter where people sometimes fight with each other. But I like the Facebook group. I don't mean to bash the Facebook group. Once you get 10,000 people in a Facebook group, I mean, for one, what a success. And it's gonna be some ruckus, right? So yeah, so there's some ruckus in there, but there's also some quality content, and people are making real friends. I've heard of people finding best friends in the Facebook group and like starting separate chats and meeting each other. That's so cool. That's beautiful. So, okay, this is the world's longest intro. I hope that you're just enjoying connecting with me because I'm enjoying connecting with you, and I'm a bit out of practice in YouTube videos. Clearly, when we're 9 minutes in and I haven't gotten to the content, but brace yourself for some vision. I won't take much longer of your day. Your time is valuable, mom or dad, or mom or dad to be. If you haven't had any kids and you're already preparing for your second kid, you need to start a YouTube channel. You are gonna be so good at this. So, everybody, welcome to Eloise's moment on the video. I brought her here because she's the big sister in our house. I'm also a big sister in my family, so it's cool. We kind of have that in common. And I just wanted her to tell you what it's like to have little siblings. She has 2. And a lot of people wrote me and said,
their first child doesn't like their second child.
Yeah, it was a lot of that, right? A lot of people were concerned. What if the first doesn't like the second? What if the first hurts the second one? What if the first is jealous of the second one? Yeah, basically all those things, right? Talking. So, yeah. What is it like having a little brother and sister?
It's really fun because they get to play with me a lot, and I like that Wilson is really funny all the time, and I like that Josie's really like cute all the time, and that Jules' favorite word is no, because it just makes everything funny.
It is.
I like that Wilson, like whenever I'm not sleeping in the same room as him, he freaks out because he thinks I'm gone and he thinks I got lost or something. And then he starts crying and looking for me everywhere. And once he finds me, he's so crazy about me and says, "Come back in my bed." Because if I actually get lost, he'll tell you guys.
That's so true. He's super protective of Eloise. It's a little harder with Jules because they're so close in age. So it's kind of like Jules and him. They play together.
And her favorite word is no.
Yeah. And Jules is pretty fierce. So I feel like Jules is Jules is actually pretty protective of Wilson. Yeah, I think that overall they'll all be protective of each other. Don't you think? Don't you think you're also kind of protective of them? Like if there's a kid at the playground who's not nice to them, do you feel something?
Yeah. Like Asher one time took Wilson's ball when he was like playing with it. He said, and started running away and said, I got the ball to his friend.
Whoa.
And then they were starting to run away with it and not letting Wilson have it. And then Wilson started freaking out. And they just didn't care and started to just keep running away. And I took it from them and gave it back.
You did? Whoa, good work. Do you remember if they were super cute? Yeah.
They were really cute.
Do you remember that you liked to hold them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure did. Do you remember if their cry annoyed you?
I think.
Yeah, it sure did.
Oh, in the car for sure.
Yeah. And what's funny about that is that sometimes now Wilson says, I don't like when Eloise cries.
I don't like when Josie cries. I don't like when Eloise cries, even though he cries all the time. You're the one who cries all the time, okay, buddy?
It's so true. Okay, so do you have any advice for people who are like, okay, I have one kid. Should I have, I caught this. I have one kid. Should I have one kid? Should I have? Okay.
Should I have one kid? Should I have
Ready.
one kid?
The question is, should they have another kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think like definitely? Do you ever wish you were the only child in the house? Don't you think you'd be bored?
Well, I would be bored if we still lived here, but I liked it in Spain.
Oh yeah. So if you have only one child, move to Spain. But if they want another kid but they're a little scared, what do you think? Should they just go for it?
They should just go for it.
Yeah, just go
try.
For it. Yeah, just try it. Okay.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. One time I said something funny and a girl, she responded by saying this, I'm laughing so hard I can't breathe. She wasn't even smiling. I was like, do you know I can see you? She wasn't even writing that.
I'm laughing so hard I can't breathe.
I'm laughing so hard I can't breathe.
It's hard to not smile.
It is. I brought Sean here. He's an expert at having more than one kid.
Yes, I've done it twice.
Yeah, he has done it twice. So we opened it up for you guys to tell us what your concerns were. I'm gonna speak to them, and I invited this guy here to also speak to them.
I'll chime in.
Yes, okay? So one of the first things that came in like so many messages is that they're concerned that they won't love the second baby as much as the first, and that the first child won't love that second baby so much.
I love all of my children equally, so that's nice.
It's hard to explain what's going to happen to you when you have your next baby.
Actually, you know what? I did have that. Okay. Because our first baby was Eloise, and she was a girl, and there's just this special, amazing love, and my thought was the next one being a boy, I'm like, what's it gonna be like? I can't, like, the way I'm gonna love him is gonna be so different. I don't know what it's gonna be like. That was pretty much it.
You didn't have the strong confidence, like, I can do this. It's
and
gonna be,
having the boy, it's actually not much different.
No. When they're babies, they're just babies.
Yeah, but like also my love for him, it's still just as like full on and like tender and sweet, and we just snuggle like crazy, and I'm kissing him all over his head all the time. And you know, I thought maybe like with like a girl it'll be more like sweet and snuggly and kisses and hugs, and you know, and with a boy it's more like punching each other and throwing them across the room.
So so what you're saying is the love came naturally, it didn't matter the gender, and you're just obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You guys, it's gonna be the coolest thing ever. You're gonna obsess with them.
Okay, and then to address the sibling not liking the other one, at least in our experience, well, that was fine.
Yeah, but then we had Wilson who didn't like Jules, so we've experienced both.
And now him and Jules are playing together like crazy.
Yeah, and hugging.
And you know what? Even though she drives him crazy, and this has been the whole time, she drives him crazy, but whenever he wakes up from his nap, and if she's still napping, he immediately wants to go wake her up.
Yeah.
He's like, where's Jules? Let's go wake Jules up. I'm like, I thought you hated her.
Yeah, they are 15 months apart, quite close in age. There were times when he liked her as a baby, when he would rub her, but then it would quickly turn into like a whack. But he really didn't like her when we first brought her home from the hospital. I have video evidence of him just like sobbing.
Well, yeah.
He just didn't understand the whole thing, and it wasn't great. But they overcome that pretty quickly.
Well, they overcome that part pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But then there's the other part, because it was right when she came home from the hospital. Okay, there's that. But her personality is she loves to make him angry.
Feisty, yeah.
She loves to take his toys because she knows it makes him go crazy, and she loves his attention. And
It's
so
true.
she is a little terror to him.
She is, yeah. Sometimes
Which Wilson wasn't like that to Eloise, so it's different with each.
But maybe it's the age gap a little bit, because Wilson and Eloise are a 4-year gap, maybe if they were closer. But one time, Jules, she's like staring at me the way I'm looking at you, just pushing Wilson over, but keeping a straight face as if he's just falling on his own.
And then he's probably freaking out because he
loses
flips
his
his lid.
Yeah.
He just goes, "No, Jules! No, Jules!" He'll wake up in the middle of the night going, "No, Jules!" having a nightmare.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't really.
We're supposed to be getting them encouraged. No, they are getting more playful. And watching your kids love each other is going to burst your heart in a way that is you can't be prepared for.
It's so
the
special.
Sweetest thing. And I remember feeling that about my own little sister. I remember specifically being on a vacation with my mom and my sister, and I had to be around Eloise's age. And I remember going to my mom and thanking her for having Meredith because I liked her so much.
That's cute.
And it's like I realized that everywhere we went as a family, she'd always come. And I was like, that was so cool. Thanks for making me a friend that would always go on trips with me. And yeah, I think that's so special.
That's cool. It gets better as time goes on with Wilson and Jules. The other day, I was cooking food, and these two, they were just running all over the house, playing together, having the time of their lives. And so now they're at this age where they're just playing. If they didn't have each other, I would have to do all that playing. With them.
We did that with Eloise.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of playing.
So
I know
that's
Eloise,
a huge benefit of having siblings is at some point you don't have to be the one giving all the energy to the playing and entertainment.
So true.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and they keep each other alive. Like in the bathtub, one goes under, the other most of the time is quick to like either come to the rescue or yell for help or something. Like they really look out for each other in a way that will not end as they get older. I mean, you look out for your siblings as you grow, and it's really special.
Yeah, Eloise keeps them all alive, and Jules is just constantly trying to figure out creative ways to die, and it hasn't worked because of her siblings.
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah. Overall, your kids are going to be so thankful to have each other. I got this from a lot of parents. They're like, oh, well, prepare me because I'm terrified of being so tired because I feel like I'm currently more tired than I've ever been. How could I possibly add another child?
I definitely used to think, like, for many years, that's what I would think, because you see parents, they have a kid, and they're so tired all the time.
I know.
And it would blow my mind when then they wanted to have another baby. And I'm like, you are exhausted constantly.
Yeah.
Why do you want to double up on this?
Right.
Isn't that going to double up on the exhaustion?
Yeah.
And I see things completely differently now because, because then when we had a kid and we're like, well, yeah, we need to have a second kid. Yeah, we're completely exhausted. Like, yes, you need to have more kids.
Why?
And ultimately, it leaves you less exhausted. Because like we said before,
play together.
They entertain each other.
Yeah, true.
The value of having another child is so high. It's not that you're more exhausted, it's rather that you have to deal with the exhaustion of a newborn baby again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that pregnancy second time around is more exhausting because first pregnancy, you get to take a lot of naps. Second pregnancy, you have a baby or toddler.
True.
Yeah. So there is more exhaustion, but there's also then more strategy around when can you rest? Who can you invite in to carry extra loads so that you can take a nap somewhere? But also with our second baby, there was a lot we did differently so that we could get more rest. First time around, we were like hyper vigilant that she wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
Second baby, you're like, oh, they're sturdier than we thought.
That's a very good point.
You could do a feeding.
You get better at creating your little systems so that they work in your favor of exhaustion and energy. I mean, for us, sleep training was a big part of that one. Massive.
Huge.
Because if you get your baby to sleep, that changes your exhaustion meter drastically.
Intensely, yeah. Also, having you give the babies a bottle. So first baby, we were really like, oh no, if we offer this baby a bottle, she'll have nipple
breastfeed
confusion.
again.
Yeah. And then second baby, we're like,
here's the bottle.
let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then we started doing it where at least one bottle a day came from you. And that makes a huge difference in the beginning.
Implementing strategies to be less exhausted. And you're better at it the second time around.
Yeah. And third baby, we were way more tired than first and second, I think. She had so many issues in the beginning, remember?
Yeah, she was born premature.
Yeah, and then was in the NICU for 23 days.
Long time.
Yeah,
and
then
also her personality requires a lot more energy.
Yeah, she's a party. Totally worth it. And the gift of that being our third baby was that we had perspective to know that this stage that we're in, both the baby stage and now the toddler stage, they're very temporary.
It's a temporary stage.
They pass.
So, I'm exhausted now, and we're gonna have a newborn baby, so we're gonna face the exhaustion of a newborn baby again. Okay, but now you've done it before, and you have lived the fact that stage passes, and you enter into feeling like a normal human again. So then you're kind of like prepared, like, okay, it's gonna be exhausting again for a little while, and then we'll enter back into normal sanity again, and we'll have more than one baby, which is like the best thing ever.
One of the things I told myself with Jules, maybe with Wilson too, was this is temporary and this is meaningful, because sometimes you just feel like you're drowning a little bit, but it's not really drowning. You're actually building something so beautiful and fulfilling and satisfying.
Giving your children siblings, that is the best gift you can give them. Way better than a Tickle Me Elmo or a Beanie Baby or a Pokemon card. Xbox 360.
One family told me that they were not doing a sibling because they wanted to put their child through college. I would much prefer having Meredith than go to college. Much prefer, like, no question.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I'd rather pay for my college and have my sister. I mean, think of all the benefits that come with a sibling.
I don't know, that's a weird way of thinking about it, but I mean, I guess, to me it feels strange. So
Okay, but here's the thing. Sometimes people on the internet write me and they're like, Jessica, you make people feel bad if they have only one child. I don't want to make anyone feel bad for having only one child. Sometimes people can't physically have another child. I have a good friend who can't have more than one. Sometimes people really don't want to. Sometimes people legitimately feel like it's the best decision to not have one. That's fine. That's great. If that's what lines up with who you are and what makes sense for your family, hold on. Maybe they feel like they can travel more easily.
Well,
they can just bop around, because we did so much with one kid that we have not done with 2 or 3. One thing I would say to that person, which I have said because I've gotten multiple messages like this, is just like, sibling relationships are so valuable. So maybe you could create in the kids' lives relationships that are similar to a sibling. Because one thing that I find to be super important about my relationship with my sister, and I think you would say the same about your brothers, is you guys have all these shared memories and shared experiences. We have this history. So if something happens to one of our parents or one of our childhood friends, I'm not alone with those thoughts and feelings and reflections. I have somebody else who's right there in my corner being like, yeah, I know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know?
What you're saying is, if you have one, then you want to do your best to create a system where they have people their age that they're able to share life experiences.
Yeah, deep, meaningful relationships.
I had that growing up. Even though I had 2 older brothers, I was the baby. I grew up with all my neighbors. Since I was 2 years old, I was running around the neighborhood with my next door neighbor, JD, and then all our other neighbors, ton of neighbor kids. And we grew up together like siblings.
Yeah.
Having that would definitely give a very similar experience to having siblings.
Totally. I agree with that. Yeah. So just
as far as
integrating
the relationship aspect of it.
Yeah. Meaningful relationships, lasting. Because I have that too. I have friends from childhood that I would say, like Melissa, much more like a sister than just a friend.
Right.
Her parents too.
Well, also cousins. A lot of people, if they're close to family, you get close with your cousins who are basically like siblings. Yeah. And I mean, cousins can really be a lot like siblings.
Totally.
Because you're actually part of the same family.
Yeah, there
so
you
that
have
would be
it.
recommended. So basically, what I would say, kind of the thing is, you want those deep, meaningful, lasting relationships for your children. The kind of the most default way to do that is give them siblings.
Right.
So if you're not going to have more than one kid, then you want to do your best to give them those deep, lasting relationships, whatever old way you can.
Yeah. This is something I've thought a lot about because my friend Becca, who owns Very Good Mothers Club with me, she used to nanny for a family, and the older kid did not like the little brother, and he always talked about it. I thought, watching, why don't the grown-ups just tell him that's not how we talk about our little brother? And what I guess the family philosophy was like, no, he's just allowed to have his feelings. He should just feel his feelings and communicate his feelings. So I've processed this because I interact with a lot of moms. So I've been trying to figure out, like, what do I think about that? Not in a way of like judging their style. They should do what feels right. But in overall, how could you help a kid like the younger kid? Sorry. Okay, Sean had to step out, but I want to finish this idea. So I think the role of the parents, one of our roles, we have many, so many, is to teach our kids how to relate to each other. And really, it's like, obviously the kids aren't allowed to hurt each other physically. No, you're not allowed to hurt your sibling. We don't punch our sibling. We don't wrestle with our sibling. We don't scratch them, pull their hair. Like, we just don't do it. Are they gonna maybe do that? Probably. But our job as parents is to be like, hey, whoa, we do not relate to each other like that. If one of the kids is talking really badly about the other kid, no, that's not how we relate to our siblings. We don't talk badly about the siblings. We learn to love one another because this is our family. This is the team we've been given, and this is gonna be our team for the rest of our lives. And you can find friends who feel like family and find friends who feel like siblings. That's beautiful. But this core nuclear family, as they call it, this is the one we've got. And our job as parents is to help them know how do they relate to each other. And they can feel their feelings, and it's possible to feel your feelings and still get to a place where you are treating people well. And it's an art, and we're gonna teach our kids how to do that. Another thing that Sean and I did that really helped was we tried to make the babies seem more fun than they were. So we would make jokes about them. We would make like little voices like, oh, look, the baby's saying blah, blah, blah. Like, something's probably so dumb. But we really were intentional about trying to make the baby seem fun or funny, or like, I remember specifically a time where I would carry little Wilson to open a door, and I would use his feet to open the door, and it made Eloise laugh, and she thought Wilson was funny. He wasn't funny. He just wasn't anything. He was just a cutie little guy who was like, what in the world is going on? But I had someone comment on that, like a loved one who was here visiting, being like, oh, that's probably helpful to Eloise that you guys make these babies seem like they are so fun and full of personality before they ever do anything that's actually real. Alternatively, when Eloise would do things that were fun or performative or, I don't know, fantastic in whatever way, we made it seem like the babies loved it and couldn't get enough of it. And so I think we were like creating this culture of family who enjoys each other's company before the kids actually were fun enough to do it themselves. This is not to make anybody feel bad. This is actually to amp up the parents who are like, yeah, I really do want more than one kid. I'm really
scared.
Nervous.
Yes.
So we're gonna rapid fire benefits. Okay, first one, siblings help a kid not be so annoying, because a sibling is gonna be like, you talk way too much, stop. Or a sibling's gonna be like, share, learn to share.
True.
Because sometimes in life you encounter adults who are so self-absorbed. You're like, how did you get through childhood? And they're like, well, I didn't have any siblings. I'm like, there it is.
No friends. Ooh.
Yeah, no sibling, no friends, no cousin bling. And so then they're just like, the world does revolve around me, doesn't it? And then they're like, everyone else is like, nobody, it doesn't.
That's a good point. They teach you how to talk. That was it. Eloise has taught both of her siblings how to talk because she talks to them constantly, and they have learned how to speak and communicate better because they have their little tiny sister who is teaching them all about communication in a way better than we could.
They protect each other. Eloise kind of said that. Guess there's not that many benefits. You're right. Just stick with the one. Travel buddy. They entertain each other.
Rapid fire benefits.
That's why.
Two.
Are there any more? They can share clothes. But if they're alone, they don't have to share clothes. They can be there for each other for the rest of their lives. They can both pay for your funeral.
Oh my gosh.
They can both help put you into a nursing home.
Yes, they can.
They can be there for one another. They can help each other date. Oh, remember Eloise when she was really little? She was like, what are you going to do with Wilson's friends or something? And she's like, when they come over to have sleepovers with Wilson, I'm going to sneak them into my room to play.
No, you're not sneaking boys into your room.
No, thanks.
They protect each other, and also because as they get older, I imagine, they're going to be telling each other about certain things that they don't want to tell us about. And like, I'm thinking about Eloise, like with Wilson, she's going to be giving him some good advice in things that he doesn't want to bring to us.
Women.
And she's going to be able to help keep him grounded.
True. Fashion probably too. Yeah.
They'll help keep each other grounded, I think.
That's true.
Maybe.
Yeah. And you can say things to your sibling. I could be like, don't be a dummy. And it hits one way. But then for Eloise to say it or Wilson to say it to Eloise, it's going to hit differently.
Right.
She's going to be like, yeah, you get me.
You've created a whole team now.
Yeah.
You've gone from something that makes sense and is manageable to now like, this is your crew.
Yeah.
And for me, what I like about having 3 kids is I'm like, this is it. This is the purpose of my life, is this whole family.
Yeah.
And keeping this family together and raising this family up, it's like we are our own entity at this point. Like we're a whole stinking team with values and vision and relationships and different personality skills and whatever. Within your family, you're creating this whole little construction site where each person has their own function and each person has their own little superpower going out into the world and doing something awesome. So I don't know, just having 3 makes it feel a lot more like that, like team.
So I'm going to ask you a personal question. Jules was a surprise. The pregnancy was tricky. She arrived early. Her arrival was tricky.
Yeah.
First year of life, pretty tricky.
She's intense.
Yeah, and now we're in year 2, very intense. Tell me what you love about her.
Jules?
Yeah, is it worth it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, she's the best. She's hilarious.
Don't
Her
know
personality drives me crazy, but I also love it at the same time. She's very fierce. She's very determined to get what she wants.
She's very independent. She'll like go to the park and she'll climb a ladder by herself, go up to the top, goes head first down a slide, go skateboarding.
She's more independent than Wilson. She takes off all of her clothes. She puts on all of her clothes. She gets
climbs into the bathtub sometimes.
She potty trained herself when Wilson was being potty trained.
She weaned herself from breastfeeding.
Yeah, she chose to stop breastfeeding. We had nothing to do with any of these things.
She's the hardest 2-year-old I've raised. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely.
But she is also probably going to be president because she just like, once she gets an idea, she will do that. And when she's having fun, it's the most dynamic, like attractive, magnetic. Like when she's laughing, everyone's laughing. We're all like, what's going on here?
True. What's exciting about having children and raising children is discovering their unique personalities. So even though her unique personality is really intense and requires a lot of energy and attention and patience, it's still just as fun and exciting to discover who she is. And I love her personality, even though it drives me crazy. I still love her personality and I wouldn't want her to be any different.
No, I know.
And then I love Wilson's personality, which is totally different than hers, and Eloise's personality, which is totally different. If you're thinking about having a second child, have the second child. If you don't want to have a if you don't want to have a chicken child,
what?
Then don't have one and do what you can to give that first child awesome, deep, long-lasting relationships.
When your second baby's arriving, all hands on deck. Like invite someone to come to give a lot of attention to your first child. If they have a favorite grandparent, this is going to be key. Bring that person to come visit you guys or be with you guys and give your first child a lot of attention. That will smooth the transition so much. It's going to make it really fun for your first baby. A feeling that you will experience and probably will feel surprising, even though I'm telling you about it, is you're going to miss your first baby. They will be safe. Everything will be fine. But there is something about being with this new baby, you'll miss the company a little bit, but you'll be overcome with love for your second baby. So it's not like you're gonna be there sitting in a dark hole and the baby you love is gone. You now have this other child. Your heart burst, it grew. Your baby is going to be amazing. Ask people to help you with food. Ask people to help with any logistical thing they can help you with so that you get windows of rest. And if possible, invite anyone really, mother, sister, friend, to feed the baby for you sometimes. When should they have their second baby? There's no right answer, but there are pros and cons to both.
We had the 4-year gap with Eloise and Wilson, and that was cool. And then we have a 1-year gap.
Just over a year.
With the other 2.
Yeah.
So the pros of the 4-year gap is the younger sibling understands what's happening well enough, sibling is able to be helpful.
Yeah.
And it's easy to explain what's happening. You know, like when the baby comes home, Eloise knew
When
that she had a new
she
sibling.
got to go to the hospital and meet the baby. I've been growing this baby. She's feeling it. She like fully tracked.
She gets it. With a small age gap, like 1 year, for example, Wilson has no clue what's taking place when mommy's pregnant. And when a new baby comes home from the hospital, he has no idea what that means to have a sibling now. And what is this baby? And how do you not hurt it? And all of these things. So it's a lot harder for a small gap for the younger sibling to be helpful.
Small gap is helpful because you're already in the baby stage. You already have all the baby stuff out. It's really easy to shift. Even if you have a girl then a boy or a boy then a girl, they can very much wear each other's clothes. A lot of it is onesies anyway. When you have a large gap, like the 4-year gap, we had to reinvest in baby stuff because by then you're pretty far beyond it. But then you zoom through the baby stage because basically once you guys are done with these 2 little babies and they've become toddlers, they're in a new stage, and then you move on, and soon enough you'll be out of diapers, out of all of it.
Yeah, unless you have another one.
But yeah, like for us, we were out and then we dove right back in.
Now we really get to see like the way that they play together is and as the years go on, it's kind of fun having them be really close in age because they're like best buds.
Yeah.
They're friends.
My sister and I are 2.5 years. I pretty much loved that gap.
That's
what
a
about
good
you
2.5 years. My older brother is 5 years older than me. And then the middle child, my other older brother, is 2 years older.
Oh, nice.
So my parents had, I think, a 3-year gap and then a 2-year gap.
That's good.
I feel so much younger than my oldest brother.
Oh, really?
You know, I feel like I'm still better than him, but
You're only saying that because you hope Jason's gonna watch.
yeah, I know that I'm still better than him. I've always felt like he was so much older than me, which is funny. He's not that much older.
Is it because he's a lot smarter and more successful?
I am out of here. You
This
think
actually-
he's smarter and more successful than me? Unbelievable. Oh, what? Just because he's the vice president of Blue Cross Blue
I
Shield.
thought he was like a president. I don't think he's a vice president anymore.
President, vice president, they're all the same. What's the difference?
No, I am happy to be married to you. Wasn't. No, Christmas is gonna be.
Yeah, well, you can't marry my older brother because he's too old for you. Yeah, my older brothers are great because me and my brothers have always been quite different in some of our interests. We've gotten along great and always had a good time together. But my friends were my friends, my neighbors who were my exact same age, and those are the people that I really played with, running all over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
My brothers, we played and fought and had tons of memories and fun times together.
I don't know, guys. It's gonna be great. That's all we're saying. It's gonna be great. Whatever the gap. Ugh. Yuck.
There's an animal in here.
It's gonna be great. That's all. And if you guys need a gift for your loved ones for Christmas,
Get them Very Good Mother's Club stuff.
Yeah, we're wearing these.
I got the
to show
raddest shirt.
This is the Good Mother one. We also have it in lavender. What do you think of this, really?
I love it. I've been wearing it every single day since I got it, which is probably 2 weeks at least.
And we
I haven't
keep getting
washed
that
it,
feedback from
and I
this.
just keep wearing it. And then there was a day where I couldn't find it, and I was disgusted by all my other sweatshirts and hoodies and everything. I was like, I don't want to wear these. And I was just going all over the house trying to find this one because this is the only one I wanted to wear. I hated everything else.
Okay, but Tony, our really good friend, he's like family. He's not even a dad, and he is obsessed with this sweatshirt. He put it on. He was like, wow, I've never had a better sweatshirt.
He cares a lot about his clothing.
He cares a lot. This is a winning sweatshirt.
Yeah, this is the extra large. I would say get a size big.
Get a size bigger.
Because this is extra large and it fits me perfectly.
Okay,
I am a huge person, so keep that in mind.
This is a medium, and I like it. It's a bit oversized.
Ah, okay.
I like it a lot.
Yep.
Very comfy. Okay, Very Good Mothers Club. Thanks so much. You guys are the best. If you have tips for other families, leave them below. Thanks for doing this.
Love you.
You're great. Okay, love you guys. Bye.